Hi guys, Momoterra from Team Triple Drive here, doing some more CFA videos. Sorry I couldn't upload last week. There's a lot going on and stuff. But I'm back. And yeah, so this set of Catfight Area videos are going to involve great nature in the way of Polaris and ChatNoir. Now it's not exactly a deck that's never been meta before. Well, I say it's never been meta. It's not exactly a deck that's never been used or thought of. Polaris ChatNoir was actually very strong. Well, back. I think the last time I saw it was round set 16, set 17. It's still pretty strong, but I haven't really heard of anyone using it for a while. So I'm like, you know what? Why not just let everyone know that this deck still exists and it's still pretty strong, and we're trying some G-set stuff in it as well to see how the G-set stuff gets along, which I'm pretty sure will just complement the deck even more. I don't know. Anyway, let's get started. So our starter for the deck is Pencil Koala. It's constant pressure. Yes, the attack has to hit when attack hits a Vanguard. So the attack has to hit the Vanguard that it boosts, but you'll most likely put this behind the Vanguard, so the attack will have to hit, but it's also pressuring, because then you're pressuring your opponent's like, do I let it hit and say take a damage for counterblast, then have him get a plus, or have my opponent get a plus, or do I not let it hit and use up my hand? It's win-win. They either use their hand or you get a plus. Now, admittedly, it is Gen Break, which is the only, drawback of it, but it's still quite strong. If it dies, you're like, it was worth a try, and if it doesn't die, you're like, let's try and get some value. So that's why I run Pencil Koala. Next, the other grade 0 we are running that's not a trigger is Blackboard Power. Just because, you know, I like 7 grade 3s, so we're cutting a grade 3 out for a Blackboard Parrot. It can go to Soul, get us a card if we just want to cycle it. You know, the cost of powering up our units and retire them and whatnot. Or it's just 10k guard. I think it's pretty decent. Yeah. I like it. Next, we go to the trigger lineup, so we'll start with the 4 crit, particularly Ruler Chameleon. So, as you can see on the screen here, we got 8 crit, 4 stand, 4 heal. Now, to people that are new to Great Nature, you don't, well, in a build like mine, you don't typically use draws a lot, because you're trying to draw a lot from effects that if you basically then if you run draws on top of that, you're at threat of decking out, pretty much. You're going to try and draw what you need to draw from effects, and even at that's in some matches you got to pace yourself on that. You can't pace yourself on draw triggers unless you don't run them, so I'm not running draw triggers for that particular reason. But Ruler Chameleon, why this over the other crits like Triangle Cobra or Cutter Falcon? Well, 1, it has the effect, so we're going by my effect rule. But 2, now stay with me here, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but it has the effect, but you see the effect here, Counterblast 1, when it's put into the drop zone at end of phase. If I have a Great Nature Vanguard, I can search my deck for a Ruler Chameleon, reveal it to my opponent, put it into my hand, and shuffle my deck. Now, you're probably thinking, why on earth would you want to use that? That's deck thinning. You're going crazy, Momo. Stop that. You're embarrassing yourself. Well, that is true. But there's also another side. So I tried it with Protractor Orangutan a couple of weeks ago. And I was fighting one of my friends at the card shop. And the reason I done it was, 1, I didn't really have anything else to give power to. But 2, I didn't want to lose guard, so I used it on the Protractor Orangutan, and surprisingly enough, that play was able to not only give pressure on my opponent, but the Counterblast 1 to get the Protector Orangutan to hand was enough to keep me in the game long enough to actually win. So, you're not good. Obviously, if you have something else to give power to, do it. Give power to that instead. But if your only option is something like a Ruler Chameleon, don't be a bitch, grow a pair, and go for it. Your opponent may be a little confused as to why you're doing that. Don't worry. It can work. Obviously, don't do it all the time. Read the situation and be like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. If this situation does come up in the actual games, though, I'll explain it a bit more then. That's pretty much what we're doing. Orangutan, Castan triggers in Polaris, ChatNoir. Well, with just ChatNoir, it can get pretty nuts. Protector Orangutan can get nutty. But also, this over something like this adorable Eraser Alpaca, or this Alarm Chicken, because it has the effect. And like I said before, this effect has actually helped me out a lot. Then we go to the other crit, 4-holder Hedgehog. It was pretty much between Hedgehog, Triangle Cobra, and Cutter Falcon. I chose the Hedgehog because, I don't know, I prefer the way he looks compared to Cutter Falcon or Triangle Cobra, but it's just a personal preference. But yeah. And then finally, hello Lux, finally we got Dictionary Goat. Why a goat? I prefer goats to rabbits, quite frankly. Plus he has a dictionary. He's like, the word impossible is not in the dictionary, I think. So he's basically low-key going, nothing is impossible. You go and beat your opponent's ass. Otherwise, you are creating a word. Win-win. Kappa. But yeah. Plus, he looks all wise and magical and stuff like that. He's cool. Next, onto the grade 1s. We'll go with the Shellmaster. First, it's an unflipped PG. Polaris can get a little counterblast heavy. So this can help relieve the counterblast pressure, relieve pressure from attacks. It's a PG. You pretty much in any meta deck you run like 4 PGs. In most meta decks anyway. Of course, when Ripple was meta, I don't think it ran 4 PGs. I don't think it even ran PGs at all. But in a lot of meta decks, you do run 4 Shellmaster. Like I said, this is not a meta deck, but you run 4 PGs in pretty much every single deck you're trying to win with. Well, most decks are trying to win with. Moving on, 4 Duckbill. Duckbill's obviously getting a reprint in the tech booster that has GN in, so that's a good news to any Great Nature fans that don't have Coiling Duckbills. It's actually called Coiling Duckbill in English, not Loop the Loop Duckbill. But yeah. So why is Duckbill good? First of all, 7k booster grade 1, which is great. Then it's like you can choose one of your Great Nature rear guards and give the effect that during the end phase, if it's placed in the drop zone, you draw a card. So it's basically, you get a booster, you can get a card, and it looks funny. That's basically the gist of it. TikTok Flamingo. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, why Flamingo? We want Hamskay Riot. Well, one, Hamskay and Polaris would destroy my counterblast. And 2, TikTok Flamingo yet again. It's a 7k booster. It gives the effect to a unit that when it dies, I unflip one. This saw probably the most play in Leopold, because then in Leopold days you would retire the unit Counterblast 1, bring it back, and you could, like, if you use you could relieve the Counterblast a little bit more later on in the game with TikTok Flamingo. But apart from that, I don't think it's really seen play at all. But except maybe in the anime. But I think it can work in this deck because we may be using a lot of Counterblast. It can help relieve the pressure. Plus, you know, look at that Flamingo. It's ready to go. It's ready to rumble. And then finally, free stamp Sea Otter. Now, there's two reasons to run this. One, sorry about the cough, by the way. But one, I can just power this guy up. If I don't have any way to gain advantage from retiring a unit, I can just power this guy up and he don't die. He's like, you what, mate? I cannot be overpowered. I am just that cool. And it is like, damn, Otter, you got swag. But yeah. And also, with the Great Nature G-Guardian, I confirmed it with a friend. You do not have to retire the unit in order to get the counter charge. So I can target Stamp Sea Otter with Kundalini, which is the G-Guardian, and it basically goes retire. Let's see if we can get the actual text here. It basically says retire the unit and counter charge 1. So you would first try to resolve retiring the unit. Stamp Sea Otter cannot retire. But then it also, but then since Stamp Sea Otter doesn't retire, it just goes on to the next effect, which is counter charge 1. So then I would be able to counter charge 1, and then since I can have one of my rear guards gain that effect. A Kundalini can also gain plus 5k. Stamp Sea Otter can stay on the field. I can then counter charge 1. You guys probably see where I'm coming from here. It's pretty nutty. Next, we're going on to Binoculars Tiger. Now, this hasn't been used in quite some time. But, yeah, what is it saying here? Once it gets power plus 4,000, beginning of end of turn, retire it. May have that unit gain if you do. Alright, the text on the screen is a little different to the text on the actual card, but it's pretty much the same thing. So, why Binoculars Tiger? Well, we don't want everything to go off after Gen Break 1. So, you know, plus Binoculars Tiger is like plus 4k. All it has to do is attack a Vanguard. I don't even have to counterblast for it, which is great as well. So it's just plus 4k. Plus it's 9k base. It's pretty insane. Put a Flamingo behind this guy. That's 16k. Moving on, Crayon Tiger. Crayon Tiger's really good. There's no reason not to run this. It would be broken if it wasn't once per turn. So, you know, that's a good thing about it. It's once per turn. But, you know, it's just when it attacks a Vanguard, if it's boosted, counterblast 1, restand one of your rear guards, have that unit gain 4k, and at the end of turn, draw a card and retire the unit. So, you have to pay the cost on the first attack, but if you don't attack the Vanguard with it and then restand it and its booster, then you can still have the effect go off because the effect only would be able to trigger when you attack the Vanguard. But the important thing to remember here is don't attack the Vanguard straight away, or have it boosted when it's attacking the Vanguard straight away by a booster. Otherwise, if you choose not to activate the effect, you cannot activate that effect for the rest of the turn. That's one thing you do have to remember, but other than that, it's a really good card. There's not many reasons not to run it, except maybe Hamskay Fanboy, but even then it's like, we're running Crayon Tiger. And then we got 3 set square penguins. Another Gem Break 1 unit, but it's When it's placed on rear guard, choose one of my rear guards. It gains during end of turn. Until end of turn, it gets the effect, which is during your end phase. When this unit is put into a drop zone from rear guard, draw a card, choose a card from my damage zone, and turn it face up. So it's draw and counter charge. It's basically if we were to play TikTok Flamingo and Duckbill and have them in one unit that we play. It's obviously Gem Break 1, so it's not. So that's pretty much to keep it from being like broken or whatever, but it's a really decent card and it can work. Now the Coupe de la Creme. Free ChatNoir. You're probably wondering why not 4. Because ChatNoir is not the main focus, it is the complement of the deck. It helps complement the deck. It's a really good break ride. It's an insane card, and yeah, it's just nuts. Because it's like, oh look, do this draw card, do this power their draw card. Polaris attacks the Vanguard. Oh, do this, stand this. This happens, draw a card. So you draw a card, and then the best thing about it, it's until end of turn, draw a card and retire that unit as well. So if I'm correct here, I can draw a card, say put the effect on Sea Otter, draw a card, and then I don't have to retire the Sea Otter. Makes Sea Otter even better. And then we got 4 Polaris, because he's the main dude of the deck. He's just basically, when he attacks a Vanguard, I can counterblast 2, choose one of my Great Nature rear guards, stand it, and it gains 4k. At the beginning of my end phase, retire that unit. So it's basically an technically earlier, well, it can be earlier, it depends on the battle, on how the game goes, but it can be an earlier Crayon Tiger that doesn't need to be boosted, and it gains 3k when it attacks a Vanguard as well, so even if you don't boost it, it can still threaten the Vanguard a little bit. Plus, look how freaking ready he is for battle. He is ready to freaking go. Polaris for battle. Moving on. We run 4 Kundalini. Just as I said before, the dream is to like proc it on the Sea Otter. But obviously if you can't, you proc it on something else. You know. He's looking pretty badass there. More counter charge. We've actually got an insane amount of counter charge in this deck. But it's all so that we can try and be as consistent as possible. We run 2 Calf Palug. The reason, 1, we run 3 ChatNoirs, and 2, Calf Palug is nuts. Yes, Calf Palug literally, like, goes through our counterblast like water, pretty much, but it is nuts, because then you're like, draw a card, draw a card, draw a card, draw a card. And then it's like, your opponent's got on a crit, he's put you to 4 damage or whatever. You're like, damn, dude, how can I turn this into an advantage? Calf Palug, draw a card. You know, this is fucking nuts. Calf Palug is on crack, man. He is nuts. Gotta love Calf Palug. But we only run 2, because if we run it, we most likely will not have the counterblast to run more than 2. Although we're unflipping a lot, you know, Polaris has got to get some action too. So yeah, but even with all the unflip, we'll probably maximum get Calf Palug off twice before we're either out of counterblast and unflip, or we're looking at the deck thinking, you know what, maybe we should just chill out a little bit. Next we got 3 Harimthers? I don't exactly know how to pronounce that, but this isn't even Counterblast, which is great. It's Soul Blast. At the end of the battle that it attacked a Vanguard, so it does not have to hit, just has to attack, I choose one of my rear guards. I give it 4k till end of turn. Then, I may have that unit gain another 4k until end of turn. and then I retire and then at the end of turn I retire the unit. But if the chosen unit's power with this effect is 20k or more, draw a card. That's worded kind of a little bit. But basically it's after the attack, which is great, so you can go, oh, this card, I'll give it the trigger. You know, say like it's Crayon Tiger. No, not Crayon Tiger. Why would you do that? Well, you could do it to Crayon Tiger. But say it's something like Set Square Penguin or Binoculars, or even Crayon Tiger. So their starting power is 9k. You give it a trigger, it goes up to 14k. Memphis goes off after the battle. You Soul Blast 1, you give the unit another 4k, it goes up to 18. Then, since it gained 4k, you can give it another 4k. Well, yeah, then you give it another 4k, making it go up to 22k. Then you draw the card immediately as it hits 22k with the effect of Memphis. By reading the wording, it has to, if the chosen unit's powered this effect, it has to hit the 20k with Memphis effect. But then you draw a card, and it's like, for Soul Blast 1, we're not, the reason I used TikTok Flamingo instead of Soft Tank Sloth there is because we want more Memphis action, but he's nuts. He is nutty. By the way, if you're getting to a point where you don't want to draw the card, you can just not give the unit 4k, since it's you may give the unit 4k, the extra 4k. And then if you do, retire that unit. So you can go, you know what, I don't want to give it the extra 4k, so therefore that unit doesn't retire, it gets a free 4k. Nuts, right? Well, I think it is anyway. So yeah. Or even on Sea Otter, give it 2 triggers and the Memphis effect. This dude's on, like, that Otter's on 24k, having the time of his life. You draw a card, and then at the end of turn he doesn't retire, he's like, and what? Oh. This card is nuts. I love it. Then we got 2 mana Gamma. Judging by the deck, we can probably get to 20k quite easily, but I'm only running 2 because I'm not sure how consistently we can get to 20k. Like honestly, with these videos, I probably don't even test the deck out. I'll test it like once or twice, but a lot of it is theory crafted, and then I go into it. But I don't think we would be able to get Managama's effect off that much, but he's pretty cool. He's forcing your opponent to guard with grade 0s. So, if you see the drive chicken, they haven't got grade 0s. It's Managama time. You know, if we can do it, pull it off. Then we got 2 Wisdom Teller, because he's still alright. He can still do stuff. He's alright. Wisdom Teller is pretty cool. He's pretty much the one we go into when... He's pretty much one of the units we go into when we don't think we can do much, but... he still pressures them, so he's still pretty good. And then on to the Cray Elementals. We run 1 Sea Breeze. Now, honestly, ideally you do not want to have to use Sea Breeze, but you have enough Gem Break 1 units in the deck to... what's the word? You have enough Gem Break 1 units in the deck to basically say, look, I'm running Sea Breeze, because I need to be on Gem Break 1 to do most of my stuff. So you run the 1 Sea Breeze. Ideally you don't want to use it, but then that's why we have so much unflip anyway, so if you do have to use it, you can be like, oh, I can still try and unflip the 2 counterblast and whatnot. So, you know, it's just to help us out, just in case you do try to play the grade 2 game. What I've noticed, though, a lot is that from the brief experience I've had with Sea Breeze is, since they will assume you're running Sea Breeze, they will not try to play the grade 2 game with you, from what I've experienced anyway. So, we may never have to use Sea Breeze, which is cool. And you can just stride normally, so it's alright. And then we have 2 Mardu. because we have Polaris, who's a 10k base, if we do go ditch grade free to stride into Mardu, we can be like, get that grade free back, free stride, you know, normal Mardu stuff, basically. But yeah, guys, that was the deck profile, 25 minutes. One of these days, I'm gonna have to take the time down a little bit, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile of this Polaris ChatNoir Great Nature deck. I will be using it in some fights a little later on. Probably get into them now, actually. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment box below. BRB26, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Somebody knocked my door, so I had to answer, but, well, it's polite to answer at the very least. But yeah, so, as I was saying, give us a sub if you aren't subscribed already. Give us a like on the video if you liked it. Share it with some friends if you think they'll enjoy it. And, yeah, we also have a Facebook page, which will be in the description below. Give that a like if you're on Facebook and you want to, I guess. And also the link to game 1 will be in the description box below. I don't want to put any other games in just in case it spoils anything for other people, but game 1 will be in the description below, so you can just check out the games. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you in a bit. Bye.